Army strong, more like Army wrong. Because the Senate Armed Services Committee has decided to change up the Army physical fitness test once again. I mean, the Army combat fitness test, the APFT, the ACFT, LMNOP. There's so many acronyms in the Army, it's gonna make my head explode. The current Army combat fitness test is slotted to get the axe by the Armed Services Committee and go back to the Army physical fitness test. The one that we just stopped doing. Why? Because of money.
Money!
It's always what it comes down to. Because of money. 6 point however many billions to Ukraine. But like a couple $100 million just so your army, the world's greatest fighting force, can stay strong? We don't, no. No, they can do push-ups, sit-ups, and run 2 miles. They don't need to lift some heavy shit. This is the Army. It's not like we ever lift shit. We're always just running. We're not always running. We are often lifting heavy things. If you weren't aware that the Army Combat Fitness Test is going to be slashed and thrown right back to the Army Physical Fitness Test, well then you must not have ground news. Today's sponsor. Who reads newspapers anymore? Everything is online, but it's so hard to tell if the people online are an actual legitimate journalist that has seen the thing and is documenting it, or some crazy man cooped up in his basement choking himself with his own belt. We don't know, unless you've got ground news. For every news story, Ground News gives you a quick visual breakdown of all the different news agencies that cover it, whether it be Fox or CNN, Reuters, and their political biases or how factual that story is. They even tell you who's pushing the story and who's refusing to, so you know what's getting shadow banned and also what's getting pushed forward into the narrative. You can compare the headlines from one story to the next, even though it's the same topic, just to see who is leaning which way and how accurate your news is. You can even follow specific topics, like when the Wagner group, Wagner, whenever they were trying to do their coup in Russia. And you'll get thousands of articles from different news outlets, both stateside and across the world. Shine a light on media bias and hold everybody accountable. Click the link below and sign up for free, or subscribe and get all the perks that Ground News has to offer. And if you go to ground.news/angrycops or click the link below, you'll get 30% off up until August 1st if you decide to subscribe. You're welcome. Now I'll fill you in on the Senate Armed Service Committee's brilliant decision of getting rid of the ACFT, Army Combat Fitness Test, lift heavy things, and replacing it with the old one we just replaced with this thing, the Army Physical Fitness Test, that there's the push-ups, sit-ups, and run. Would you be surprised if I told you that the Senate Armed Service Committee didn't consult anybody in the Army?
No.
When deciding to cut the budget a little bit and get rid of the brand new test they spent millions and millions of dollars on? Well, it shouldn't, because they didn't. Whenever I'm making a decision for people that I'm supposed to be over, I should never talk to those people. That's how good decisions are made, said the politicians that are gonna axe this PT test. Do you know how excited I was for the new Army Combat Fitness Test to come in and kick out that old push-up, sit-ups, and 2 mile run? I was ecstatic. I'm a thick boy. I like lifting heavy things. I like sprints. I got more time to do the 2 mile run. Holy shit. Instead of having to get it done in like 14 minutes and 80 seconds, that's not mathing. That's 15:20, you big dumb idiot. Instead of having to go for around the 15-minute mark to get a 70% in the run on the Army fitness test, right? Now, in the Army combat fitness test, I get like 22 minutes to get 60%. I think 70% is like 18:20 or some shit like that. I'm not sure. And I know everybody's gonna go, oh, so you're a slower, fatter piece of shit now. Well, why would you want that? That's not good drill. You don't want everybody to be slower and fatter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you get more time to finish the run because there are additional events in the physical fitness test now. Well, combat fitness test now. I'm gonna get so confused. I'm gonna have to put a border that says, when I'm talking about the ACFT, the combat fitness test, I'm gonna have the banner up here, and then APFT when I'm talking about the Army physical fitness test, the old one that they're trying to bring back. It's garbage. So you're doing deadlifts, 340, maxing it out 3 times. That's 100%, because we want people to lift heavy shit. Because guess what? In combat, you're dragging a battle buddy with a couple 100 pounds of gear and fat ass, and you're hauling ass. So yeah, deadlift, I think that's important. But we do lift heavy things in the Army. Then you get the power ball throw, where you take a 10-pound ball and throw it as high and as far as you can behind you. Test explosivity. How explosive are you with your muscles? How hard can you drop kick a gosh dang door in when you're trying to breach it and clear a building? Okay, then we got the plank, which I hate. Okay, let's be honest here. Not everything is great about this. I hate the plank. I really wish we could have kept the leg tuck. But, looking at you females. But some people couldn't do it very good. Like 1, at a minimum 1 used to be the standard for the bare minimum. 1 leg tuck. God, I wish we could have done the leg tuck. How hard is this? Huh? How hard is this? I'm wearing pink shorts. Well, you know that now. Then, this is why the run needed to be extended. Because now you had the sprint drag carry, where you're sprinting 50 yards and back, and then you're dragging a sled that's got 90 pounds on it. More if you're on a slick surface like a linoleum floor in a gymnasium. Check the standard, that's the way it is. Drag that down and back, then you side hop, down, side hop, back. Then you take 2 kettlebells, 45 pounds each, you sprint them down, you sprint them back, and then you sprint down and back again just to finish it off, and you gotta get that done in under 2 minutes. You hit like the 2:15 mark and you fail. That's it, you're done. And that whoops your ass. Oh my God, my legs feel like lead when I'm trying to run afterwards. But hey, that's important, because sprinting, dragging, carrying, these are things you do in combat. Then you got the 2-mile run, which we already talked about, right? 22 minutes to pass it. Love that. Love that. But now we're getting rid of all this good juicy shit, which cost, by the way, $78 million just to start. Just to start this whole Army combat fitness test. You had $78 million go to buy new equipment so that the Army could start working out to the standard again, right? Because now you need deadlift bars, and you need the ball to throw, and you need kettlebells and the sled and bumper plates. You need the bumper plates. So $78 million just to start it 4 or 5 years ago. And then 2-3 years of trying to figure it out and implement it. And then finally, this past year, everybody's like, we're doing it for grades now. It's official. We've ironed everything out. Here we are. We've got it. We finished it. Look at all these cool events. Look at all the cool new gear. Look at all the extra running time you've got. This is fantastic. All now because we're running out of money. Gee, I wonder how that happened. We're just putting it out of our ass and sending it overseas, regardless of if you support it or not. I'm just saying that we're putting in a lot of it. You ever see, you know what inflation is? Jeez. I know we're putting a lot of it because it's like 10 times as much to buy a steak as it used to be 3 years ago. So I know we're printing up money like assholes, but that's an economic class. We're not gonna go over inflation right now. Anywho, we're printing money to give it away, but we don't have just the upkeep money for this program now. That's too expensive. It costs $78 million to start it. Do you know how hard it is to break a kettlebell? Those things are good forever as long as you don't leave them rust in the rain. And even if you do, just get a scrubber pad, Scotch-Brite that shit off, and then put it in a Connex so that it doesn't anymore. How much money are we actually saving? We've already got all the equipment. Why go back to the 2-mile run? Push-ups and sit-ups. Now I have been gone training on a military post for the past month and been hanging out with some fellow NCOs. It's great camaraderie, fantastic, and a friend in my class brought up a very good point, which I will now share with you. What if Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston and those that previously really pushed for the Army combat fitness test to replace that old push-up, sit-up, 2-mile run? What if they intentionally did that so that a large amount of money would be allocated to update the gyms and the physical training equipment that the Army had across the board? What if this was a psyop? Right? Right? Follow me here. Follow me on this rabbit trail real quick. Not saying it's true, but it looks plausible. We've got the Armed Services Committee right now just trying to say, no, that's too expensive. Cut the money. You don't get any money. Not for physical fitness, you don't. Just run around in the dirt like a bunch of animals. That's all you need, right? They're already doing that. They're showing that they don't give a shit about us, right? And our physical fitness and our ability to engage the enemy in close combat. Part of the soldier's creed, whatever. So what if Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston and his general buddies all, linked arms and said, What if we pretended like we needed to update the physical fitness test? Just so then they have to give us money for new equipment. And then when it's all said and done, even if it's bullshit and they throw it away, everybody in the Army, active, guard, reserves, all have a bunch of new gym equipment so they can maintain the physical standards that they're supposed to. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but boy, it would not surprise me if that's the way that it is. And if it is, Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston, you deserve a POB. I'm not gonna lie, you probably deserve a POB just because the ACFT I find better than the Army Fitness Test. Gosh, I'm still confusing the two acronyms. Whether or not you agree with all the things that Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston has done, or if he's a good or a bad leader or whatever, I think everybody, with the exception of being a little upset about the knee tuck, thinks that the ACFT is a total win, as well as the kettlebells and the massive amount of gym equipment that we've received because of this. Boy, wouldn't that be something if he just added that cherry on top of his legacy by saying, I know it's gonna screw him over, but I'm gonna make the gyms great and all this other crap, so meh. That would be pretty neat. And I'm sweating my balls off because it's the summertime, but I've got new hoodies. I know, I ordered them in fucking December, and they just got finished now. But look, they got my cool little emblem on it, Caffeine and Hate. We got BDU, we got Tiger Stripes, we got OCP. I personally love the old school BDUs. I came in with them, and it just looks clean. I know everybody's in with the Tiger Stripes right now, but all BDUs, it was good for every branch. Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, everybody wore it. And I got a brand new t-shirt, Ain't No Snitching. If you saw the previous video where I talked about a young Marine and the questionable circumstances regarding an award that he received. Well, you check out that video and feel free to buy a shirt. Supports the channel. Also, check out the sponsor too. It's a free download. Just makes me look good. See you next time, weirdos. Army strong? More like Army can't seem to get it right. Army wrong. Oh. That's going to the ending.